Hey, it's great to be here with everyone. I look and I see some 25 friends from all over North America. It's great to have you here today, and I'm really thrilled to have my good friend Jedidiah Yueh, from founder and CEO of Delphix, on today's Accelerating Career Innovation Accelerator. And Jed, I apologize. I always have the hardest time enunciating your last name. Could you do it for us all once?
Yeah, I usually just say Yueh. In Chinese, it's a little bit more difficult, but Yueh is fine.
Excellent. You know, I love studying success, and I love studying leadership. And all of you have known that we've been promoting the Summit Series, the HMG Global Summit Series, as global visionary leadership Summit Series last year and into this year. And when I think of success and a person that really embodies success in many different dimensions, I think of Jed. Jed and I met in the Valley about 15 years ago, roughly, I think, Jed. And he founded Delphix, had a bunch of great backers to get it launched over the years. And by the way, it's had just an amazing career. And, Jed, I just kind of like maybe opening statement from you, thoughts on your career ascent, thoughts on your success, and thoughts on, let's maybe hone in on Delphix and different pivots that you did during the tenure that you were the CEO there, and then where you are now. It's just kind of a broad opening statement to that end would be awesome, just to get the dialogue going. And it'd be great to get some interaction with everyone. Maybe, Chase, we could go to a multiple view at some point of everyone. So Jed, welcome.
Thank you, Hunter. When I started my career, I really didn't think I would end up in technology or in business. I'm really an accidental entrepreneur. So I started out as a high school teacher, and it was on my summer off that I came up with my first multi-billion-dollar software product idea. And I left the high school teaching profession and started up my first software company called Avamar. And that turned out to be quite a success. The product especially was a great success. We sold a little bit early to EMC, but the product has done millions in revenue. Delphix was really my second company, and it made more sense to start a company in the data space after selling my first. And Delphix, we also got to $1 billion in cumulative revenue and sold it recently to Perforce. But what I would say for everybody around the call, you all have a great wealth of experience and understanding of technology. It is easier today than ever to create technology products that can change the future of an industry. And I was able to do it with no background at all, just a desire to learn and a curiosity about how things work in tech. And I think now is really a great time for all technologists to embrace what's new and to look at innovations that can really change the game.
Jed, you've had an amazing experience working with CIOs for decades. When you think of the role of the chief information officer, the joke is career is over, right? But we know that's not true. It's farthest thing from the truth. Every company's now a technology company, whether you're selling soda, chips, or you're a bank. What kind of lessons learned or thoughts, observations would you have on the more successful CIOs? What do they do differently in terms of their leadership style and the way they build their organization?
Yeah, I think it's important as a CIO to be able to span both the high ground and the low ground. You have to be able to cover the really important topics of a business at the right level while getting down in the details enough to really understand technology. I think the best CIOs are ones that can take technology and forge a program and a strategy that has a material impact on the business. We've worked with many CIOs who've helped transform their businesses, take on new markets, grow and scale their businesses, add new technology that differentiated them against the competition. There are so many things you can do to help drive business today in the technology seat. And so I think that is really the key for CIOs.
Build on that too, Jed. My fifth book was basically about a decade ago, and people laughed at it a little bit. Anyways, it was called The CEO of Technology, meaning the CIO need to think like a CEO of technology. You've been a CEO twice over, successful. What about that thought now that the CIO really needs to think like a business leader, a CEO, to really look at new markets, current markets, and future markets to help innovate and disrupt?
I totally agree with that. I think the CIO should really put themselves in the CEO seat and think about what can we do with technology that can really help us own or retain or drive new inroads into new markets. I think that is really the critical factor for CIOs.
Any other thoughts then on leadership and the importance of building high-performing teams?
I think you have to get the ordering right. So if you have the right strategy and vision, if you have the right vision and it's compelling, that will help you set the right mission, the right culture that will help you retain and attract the best talent. So if you want to get the best talent, you have to have the right strategy and the right vision and mission. So there's an ordering to all of these things. If you try to go get great talent, but you don't have a great vision and it's not powerful and you can't build mission and culture around it, it's very hard to retain them. You might overpay and still not retain them. So I think you have to understand the ordering of how some of these things work in the tech world.
And Jed, a little bit on Gen AI and AI in general. Thoughts on this innovation spike?
Yeah, I think there's a new wrinkle to the CIO role when it comes to Gen AI and AI. I think CIOs really need to think of themselves as chief AI officers. There is so much potential in Gen AI to transform different kinds of industries in different ways. It not only will shape what you can develop, what kind of applications you can develop by adopting AI components, it will also change the rate and how you develop. So the software.com group, which I work with right now, I'm on the board there, they've recently released a product that automatically tracks Copilot usage for companies. And they're finding that teams that use Copilot from Microsoft GitHub are shipping new features 70%, 69% faster than other teams. That is a really big number. That is a huge sea change in the rate of development. Companies can't afford to be flat-footed if competitors are starting to ship software 70% faster through simple tool adoption. And so I think people really need to be mindful of it. Instead of taking an overly conservative mindset and just dipping their toes in the water, they need to be aggressively looking at what kinds of tools can they adopt that really sustain a competitive advantage over the next decade.
Jed, you had a great book 10 years ago, Disrupt or Die. What was the thought there, and is it 10 times, 100 times more important now to disrupt or die?
Absolutely. I think the idea behind that is that it is so easy to come up with a technology idea, implement that technology using open source and cloud tools, and today, Gen AI and other tools that are in the AI category. It's so easy to ship products that can be transformational that you really need to keep disrupting industries, keep looking at what is on the vanguard of technology and adopting that to drive your strategy and your execution plans. And if you don't do that, somebody else will. So if you don't disrupt and own the future of your market, somebody else will own that market. And I think that is really the responsibility of the CIO to stay ahead of what is possible in technology.
Well, isn't it key, not only the CEO and the C-suite and the CIO and the CISO being kind of this, having this leadership, a high performance leadership idea, vision and mission with the right values and principles, but this idea to adapt and to move, to pivot. You did that at Delphix several times. You have to move and pivot to the new model, the new idea fast, or you're dead.
Absolutely. When we started at Delphix, we had a technology stack that could pull in data from enterprise applications and then quickly automate that data using a virtual footprint into dev, test, QA stage environments. And then we saw this rise of all these compliance regulations around data. So our first pivot was buying another software company. We happened to be growing really fast and profitable at the time, so we were able to buy it in profit. And we added a technology company that added data compliance to the platform. And so now we can scan the data for data that might be regulated, mask that data as we deliver the data to downstream environments. That ended up being a huge win for us. We were able to get an enormous return on that product over time. It was adopted by like half of our customers. over time and accounted for more than 20% of our revenue. But as we were scaling, we hit another challenge. So as applications started moving to the cloud, we really needed to start launching both cloud products and ensure that our products worked with all the different cloud tools and data. So we had a shift to the cloud with the shift of applications to the cloud. So that was our second big shift. And then recently, we decided to be acquired by Perforce, and it really enlarges the full portfolio for Delphix. So today, Delphix, we can automate data, make it compliant. Perforce adds some additional products around data that finish the entire suite. They provide synthetic data on load testing. And so you can have the data that's coming in from there. You can add data from mocks and stubs from service virtualization. So now you have a 360-degree control of data for the application development lifecycle. So that combination is yet another pivot.
What is it? The ESG and the sustainability all about, and your sustainability organization that you built? Share with us the vision and the genesis of it and where it is now, Jed.
Sustainability is something that's just near and dear to my heart because I love being in the ocean. I love free diving with all kinds of sea creatures and swimming with wild dolphins. I can do that out here in Laguna Beach where I live. So sustainability and the environment really matter to me. It's also pretty core to Delphix. So Delphix, we reduce the footprint and the cost of data anywhere we go by 10x. So the environmental cost, power cooling footprint to manage data for application development, all of that shrinks by 90% wherever Delphix is deployed. So it's core to Delphix. And what we thought is, well, we don't just want to focus on sustainability by shipping our product, selling our product to businesses around the world. What is a bigger impact that we can have on sustainability? So we started sustainableIT.org, and the idea is to really embolden CIOs to take lead on sustainability for their companies. And the good thing is that many sustainable programs are very cost effective and they're all wrapped around technology. And so it is really a great place for CIOs to also take a leadership stand.
Great stuff, Jed. I love it. Melissa, maybe we can show all of our attendees and open us up for a Q&A. Jed, you're open to questions, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you just would raise your hand or unmute your mic. Oh, I see Sharon's on board. Good to see you. Elizabeth's here. Cassie, excellent. Anyone have a question for Jed? Let's open it up.
Great presentation, Jedidiah. Question for you about you mentioned 69% faster from a development standpoint. How about from a code quality? Do you have some stats on that?
Yeah, so the new feature stat actually encompasses code quality because it only counts the code that's contributing to new features. It doesn't add in code that is being edited for, say, bug fixing, recently shipped code that has high error rates or has bugs in it. Also doesn't allow for data or for code that's being changed for legacy refactoring. So that new feature metric encompasses quality.
Okay, thanks.
It's net of quality issues.
That's really impressive if that's the case.
So I have a follow-up.
There is quite a lot of variation between companies. So these are big numbers, but you'll obviously see different results by industry, by scale, and by type of development.
So this is Jatinder Batra. I have a follow-up question to the previous one. And that is that has there been any measurements on what the impact of Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT, also the combination on software development lifecycle, the DevOps and DevSecOps, those two components? Has there been any measurements on those?
Yeah, well, that feature is definitely the feature. It is definitely tracking what I was talking about with software.com. It's tracking software development.
Okay.
They have a lot of metrics. It's not just new features. If you look at another metric like lead time, which is also impacted by DevOps, DevSecOps, because you have a lot of tools that are part of shrinking lead time from first ideation out to release or at least deployed code. In terms of lead time, it's about a 68% reduction in lead time for those using Copilot. So the impact is pretty extreme when you consider the low cost tools like GitHub Copilot.
Thanks.
Jedidiah, this is Mike LaValle. I have a question for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike. No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my question is, I'm going to leave the tech area. So my question has to do about engaging with your high performers on your teams. How do you build into the culture to help those individuals learn, grow, and develop and stay engaged and stay on your teams rather than going to another company?
Yeah, I think there it really comes down to vision, mission, culture. So if you have the right strategy and products that you're developing or the right technologies that you're deploying, you want to paint that in a vision and set a mission that is very compelling. The more compelling that is, the more engaged people will be. And then you have to build a culture that really fosters the best high performers in technology. That combination makes it very hard for people to leave a company. They will still leave if they have a bad manager. So you have to hire the right leaders and make sure they follow that culture. But if you set those constraints correctly, then it's difficult for people to want to go anywhere else, even if they get a better job offer.
Thank you very much. That's very useful.
And for us, sustainableIT.org really helped with the mission. So making sure we're a company that's focused on doing good, not just with our product, but also with the rest of the efforts that we put forth as a company that really help people want to be part of the company and stay part of the company. They're proud to work at Delphix.
Hey, Jed, what's different regarding Gen AI and this AI cycle now?
Well, it just touches so many things. Anything that, for instance, software development is all code is all text at the end of the day. It's all things you're typing on your keyboard. And so Gen AI, these LLMs, they can do incredible work for anything that they can read and understand, and anything that they can process and understand. And so I think it just has really big transformative effects across many industries in many different ways than anything else before.
And how important is it to get an external, independent point of view on a vision and strategy for your organization?
I think there's a balance there. So if you have a compelling vision and strategy that is differentiated, you should just execute, and you don't need a lot of collaboration with anyone external. If you don't have one, you probably need to find the external collaboration in order to get there. What I would say is you don't want to be a slow follower. You don't even want to be a fast follower, because if all you do is adopt the tools that are being adopted by other leading organizations, you're just catching up with them. You're not driving differentiation. The biggest differentiation will be those companies that can define how can they adopt LLMs, Gen AI, other AI tools into their applications, into their products, into their businesses, into their interactions with their customers in a way that nobody else is yet doing in their industry. That is also something that is core to winning that industry in the future. If you're able to adopt those technologies and use them to power your business in a unique way, create this unique AI value proposition, that's where you really will see the big gains in markets.
I love it. Great stuff, Jed. Any other questions, folks? I can keep going.
This is Ted Bredican. Quick question. I'm curious how you think about privacy relative to data and AI in particular. It sort of struck me as I joined this call that I had to accept that that it was going to be transcripted and everything I said was going to be captured. And it seems like you kind of don't have a choice almost anymore. But I'm curious how you think about that.
Yeah, data privacy and regulations are really central to what we did at Delphix, or what we do at Delphix. I'm an advisor at Perforce, so I'm still with the Delphix team helping to drive products and AI strategy and also helping with the field. But what we do there is we analyze all the data that is privacy related and then mask that data before you connect that data to LLMs, so that if somebody in your organization is asking a question that involves privacy data, they won't accidentally breach privacy laws. So you do need to be mindful about data and privacy. I think that's something that all CIOs and CISOs really need to be mindful of.
Thank you.
So, hey, Jed, take us forward, say 5 to 10 years, because I'll go back 20. So there was this little online bookseller called Amazon, right? And you could have bought the stock all day long for like $2 to $8. That summer of August, let's say, of I think 2008. Where we are now with Gen AI and AI in general, go forward 8 to 10 years, how different is the world going to be for us if you don't execute, if you don't really innovate, if you don't really accelerate the whole agenda of Gen AI in the C-suite with the line of business?
I think virtually every industry, because once you get to scale, all businesses need applications to help power and grow their businesses. I think almost every business in every industry will have a significant Gen AI component. On the other hand, I think there will be a lot of Gen AI adoption that goes nowhere. So I think you will have both this bubble that's occurring now where companies are investing very heavily, but they might not have the right strategies. So they get a little bit ahead of themselves, or they investigate programs and strategies that won't ultimately bear fruit. So you'll get a little bit of a bubble and then maybe a little bit of a bubble bust. But at the end of the day, the core of it, just like what happened with the internet bubble, is hugely transformative, right? It's real and lasting and will build huge businesses that are highly dependent upon it. So I think it'll take the same track that we generally see in these major new technologies that are released to market.
Great stuff. Anyone else jump in with a question? Sharon, Cassie?
Jed, tell us more about how we can be involved with the Sustainable IT initiative.
Yeah, with sustainableIT.org, you can just go to the website and you can join up. We have local groups that will get together, and there are lots of board members today, and we're always expanding the advisory board. So it's pretty easy to get involved. You can just go to the website.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, I noticed you have a partnership just announced with ServiceNow. That's right.
ServiceNow has adopted our standards. So sustainableIT.org has released the only standards for sustainability for IT, and ServiceNow has adopted that in their own platform.
Congratulations. That's amazing, Jed.
Well, that's another way we can all get involved, is by taking a look at that and see if we can apply it to our own orgs.
Yeah, absolutely. Those standards you can apply to your own orgs right away.
Hey, Jed,
Thanks.
I want to thank you very much for coming on today's program. We have a couple minutes to wrap up here. What are your plans for the rest of the day? You gonna go out and surf?
I might go find a beach volleyball game, but and go in the water a little bit. But we'll see what the day holds.
What's got your interest right now? What are you working on next? What's the next project?
Well, right now I'm still working with Perforce and Delphix, and I'm also working with the software team. So my plate is full enough at the moment, but I think over time we'll see how things develop.
Great stuff, Jed. Hey, exciting times. I always say it's the best time ever, but I really truly believe it's the most thrilling time ever to be in business and in technology. Wouldn't you agree, Jed?
Absolutely.
And why do you say that? What makes this the best time?
I think right now, if you are in the technology leadership role, it is easier than ever to change the future of your business and the industry. And it is all in your hands what to do with all the tech that you can pull together and bring to bear at your company. So I think it's just an exciting place and time for technologists.
Great stuff, Jed. I consider you a great friend. I look forward to seeing you at the Southern California HMG SIM event in early September.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Great stuff. Hey, folks, that's a wrap for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Stay dialed into hmgstrategy.com. Go to our homepage. Look for the next upcoming program. We have Snehal Antani, Friday the 19th, 12 to 12:30, from the founder and CEO of Horizon 3 AI. Jed, thanks again. And everyone take care. Be well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.